Hello, family. Welcome to BabsWTV. Today, we're going to talk about burnout. You feel it, you don't feel it. People are feeling burnout outside right now. Everybody you talk to, they look burnout. Everybody you speak to, they feel burned out. Even my surroundment, everybody feel burned out. I don't know what's going on right now in America. Have you ever feel burned out? Let's check out this clip.
Americans aren't just tired, they're financially burnt out and it's getting worse. This is by the New York Post here. It's just a day or two old. And what caught my eyes, there's a lot of stats in here. A lot of it is good, a lot of it is bad. But the one that caught my eyes was when people were asked how debt makes them feel, respondents most often cited feeling overwhelmed were 40%, anxious were 38%, and basically stuck were 30%. This isn't just stress, it's systemic pressure. Nearly 9 out of 10 Americans report financial stress in 2026, and 77% say they took a financial hit last year. At the same time, half of Americans say they're more stressed than they were just 1 year ago. This is no longer temporary, it's becoming the baseline. The data is pointing in one direction. 70% of Americans are just managing, struggling, or falling behind. Only 5% say they're actually thriving financially. Financial stress levels are now hitting record highs in 2026 forecasts, and overall household stress is now classified as elevated, above historical norms. Even long term outlook is breaking. Nearly half of Americans fear they won't be able to retire. This is how it's showing up in everyday life. People are working but consistently uh, anxious, sleeping less, thinking about money, taking on debt just to stay afloat, and delaying major life decisions. Even basic financial security is slipping. Many Americans can't cover emergency expenses. Savings are shrinking, and more people are relying on credit for essentials. This is what financial burnout actually looks like. This isn't just economic, it's psychological. Surveys show rising anxiety, overwhelm, and pessimism about the future, just like I showed you in that article by the New York Post. And nearly 9 in 10 Americans now believe we're in a cost of living crisis. This isn't just about money anymore, it's about control. So, in order to gain control yourself of your finances, personally, I've taken the path of affiliate marketing to supplement my income, and businesses pay handsomely for this. You can build income from anywhere and protect your finances. So if you want a digital income plan to fight back, click in the bio, drop your name and email to get more information on how to start your digital online business. I do kindly ask that you share, comment, and like this video. Thank you.
Younger Americans are experiencing what they call peak stress, and they're experiencing it earlier than anyone. A survey of 2,000 adults found most people burn out at around 42 years old. But for Gen Z and millennial adults, now the ages 18 to 44, the highest point of their stress happens much younger, at 25 years old. Wow. So when they were asked what's causing their burnout, most people said finances, followed by politics, work, and their physical health. 7 out of 10 agree that it'll only get more challenging to be an adult within the next 10 years.
Why do so many of us in America look broke down by the time we turn age 50? I'll tell you why. We've been worked into the dirt. And see, every time I go out, I notice this. Our bodies are tired. People limping, backs hurt, knees shot, and feet straight busted. It's like people are walking billboards for what overworking does to the human body. And let's be honest here, it's not genetics, y'all. This is capitalism. See, in America, you literally work until your body falls apart. You ignore pain, you push through injury. You skip checkups because you don't have the time and you don't have the money. And then by the time you're older, your body cashes the check that your job wrote years ago, but then it bounces. Now, compare that to older people in other countries. You'll see 70-year-olds still walking to the store, riding bikes. Meanwhile, here, we got 45-year-olds moving like they're 90. And why? Because in America, see, your age is not just an indication of how long you've actually lived. It also tells how hard you've been worked. And you know the wildest part of it all? After all of that work, you don't have nothing to show for it. All the money you made is already spoken for. Bills, debt, medical costs, food, rent, mortgage, that money gone.
I'm 50, a grandma, I work from home, and after years of not taking care of myself, I've hit total burnout. Hormones, exhaustion, work stress, life stress, all of it. I feel stuck in survival mode and completely disconnected from myself. So I've decided to start healing gently. No extremes, no hustle, just simple routines, nervous system healing, and real life. If you're tired of being tired, you're not alone.
And I want to let y'all know that it's just not you. America is drained as a whole. Like the whole country is running on fumes right now. Wake up tired, go to work tired, go home tired. And it's not because we lazy, it's because the system is actually exhausting us and draining us. Think about it, people are working longer hours just to afford the basic shit. Food, rent, gas, everything's expensive right now. Your money not stretching like you used to, your paycheck not stretching, and it's wearing everybody down. Then everybody get on social media for a dopamine hit to kind of release themselves from the real life and reality. Our brain never actually get a chance to rest. Let's be real, America don't really care about us resting. We glorify hustle culture, and then we treat burnout like it's normal. No wonder everybody walking around all tired, aggravated, and don't want to be bothered with. But until the system changes and things get better here, we all are just going to continue to be exhausted. Not really think it's going to go downhill from there.
So why are millennials burning out at record pace? Well, it's because y'all told us all we had to do was get the good grades and work really, really hard, and we too could have the American dream. But yet here we are in our mid to late 30s, still trying to pay off that student loan debt for the college degree that we no longer use. We can't afford to buy a house, let alone save for retirement. But the good news is we're not going to be able to retire anyway, so what's the point? And there's also this whole idea too that, like, we are programmed to believe that our worth comes from our level of productivity, and so we've kind of created this subconscious addiction to stress. We wear stress as an honor badge to show off our enoughness and get the validation and approval from our parents and our coworkers in society. And even though we're making far more than our parents ever did at our age, somehow the cost of living still far exceeds the increase in wages. But between like late stage capitalism, alien invasions, and World War III, something's got to change pretty soon, right? So yeah, we're a little bit tired, but luckily we've got our favorite vacation place that we go to. It's called Dissociation Nation, where we all come together and share our dark humor and sarcasm and 90s nostalgia as a way to, get by.
The burnout in America is unreal. Did you see the headline that said 43% of Americans have used vacation time to just spend the day in bed? They're not using PTO to travel, they're using it to sleep. That's how tired we are. And I can already see the comments now. You guys are getting vacation time? I've heard stories of European coworkers not being able to meet their American coworkers in multinational companies because they don't want the American workers finding out how much vacation time the Europeans get. If people from the States found out how much vacation time you get in Europe, I think there would be some big changes like tomorrow. It is unreal having to live in a place where you have to pick either getting a surgery or putting it off because you don't have the time to take off from work. This can't be healthy. This can't be the right way to live. That's why we're moving to Europe, the land of sunshine and rainbows. I like to say that to rile up my comments. No, we're moving to Portugal, a country within Europe that has its own slew of problems, of course, like anywhere else. But we're escaping the work culture. We're escaping the hustle and bustle and the never being able to take time for yourself. I'm turning 30 soon, and this can't be it. This can't be all there is to life. I refuse to believe it. And even if I fall flat in my face, well, damn it, I'm gonna try. If you find that interesting, stick around. We're moving next year, and we can't be more excited. And in the meantime, to all my American friends, don't be ashamed to take a day off or two. We could all use a break.
You're an American. How are you doing right now? How are you doing with everything that's going on right now? It is in a tailspin when you tell you our president is damn sure in the files. Another president is also in the files, and he's okay with them releasing the files. They actively just started a war. Like they can say that they're not doing that, but it's exactly, they even stitched old footage of what they were saying about Iraq with what they're saying about Venezuela, using the same script, almost identical. We already know what happened last time. If you're a millennial or above, you know exactly what it was like when they announced that Iraqi war. It's nonsense. How are you doing right now? Everything is expensive. Food is barely affordable right now. They tried to take away SNAP benefits, and they're trying to tweak it as much as they can, trying to turn the American people against each other when we already know who the problem is. In this society is just crazy. People can't afford food. People can't afford they can't afford living. They can't afford anything. They can't afford housing. There are people working 40, 50, 60 hours a week that can't afford to live in an apartment. They're still here talking about credit, 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 as if people aren't losing their shirts. They keep trying to misdirection and make everybody else seem like the problem when we know who the problem is. It hasn't gotten anything. Has America become great yet? Because all I see is misery. Misery and unhappiness. And we're taxed for that too.
Can we talk about how impossible it is to have a life as someone who works a 9-to-5 in America? Someone who works in America, period. Like, let me give you a rundown of what a typical workday looks like for me. I try not to hit snooze at 7 a.m., though I fail sometimes. Then I start getting ready. I do my skincare, I pick out an outfit if I haven't the night before, put my leftovers in my lunchbox, and if I have enough time, I either make myself coffee or I stop for coffee. Then I'm at work from 8:30 to 5. Then I sit in traffic for 30 to 40 minutes, yeah. I'm home by around 5:30, 5:45. I have therapy on Tuesdays at 6, so forget it. I only have a couple of minutes to wind down before I have to hop on the portal for my appointment. And don't get me wrong, I'm super thankful to be able to go to therapy because I have a good insurance plan from my job that allows me to. It's sad, but healthcare of any kind is a privilege in this country, it seems, because it's so expensive. And it really depends on where you live and what health insurance you have. Then my lovely boyfriend and I make dinner together, we clean up, then I go shower and do my night-night stuff. By this point, it's probably already like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Maybe even later, depending on if it's a hair wash day or not. Then if we have time, we watch a show. If not, we go to bed. Really just feels like it's this rinse and repeat cycle. So to all of my dear friends watching, if you haven't heard from me through text or you haven't seen me in weeks or maybe even months, I'm really sorry. I really, really am. It's not personal. You all know that you do not have to guess with me. If there's something wrong, if I'm upset, I will tell you. But again, this is just how the cookie crumbles. And weekends aren't much better either. Because sometimes I work a second job as an on-call server. My man and I have to clean, we have to do laundry, we have to make sure that the house is taken care of. I have acupuncture every other week. Sometimes my little brother has a soccer game and I love going. He's also another person I feel very, very sad that I can't see as often because I'm so busy all the time. Again, I really do feel as though I am just living to survive and to get ready for the next day.
I've heard that it's unusual that Americans will like meet somebody and then be like, so what do you do? Versus like, I don't know, like, how do you spend your time? What are your hobbies? And have you heard that before?
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's so interesting how our culture, for all of the incredibly great things about being American, there's also this overemphasis on work. I say that as somebody with a love and passion for helping people find work that they love, but I always tell people that you're not going to you're not going to scratch every itch through your job.
Anyone else gone from their super ambitious climbing the corporate ladder era straight into not wanting to work at all? I was a high achiever my whole life, and then somewhere in my late 30s, I just stopped caring. And here's what I realized, and this is the part that no one talks about. It's not that you don't want to work anymore. It's that you don't want to keep pouring yourself into work that feels draining and unfulfilling and completely out of sync with who you've become. You outgrew hustle culture and the version of you that's constantly trying to prove your worth. And now you want work that actually means something, work that fits into your whole life instead of swallowing it whole. And that misalignment may feel like burnout, but I actually think it might be a wake-up call. A wake-up call that in our 30s and 40s, we define success differently than in our 20s. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually growth. We didn't lose our ambition. We just stopped pointing it at the wrong things.
I'm sitting here, it is 3 p.m. on a Monday, and I am trying to figure out how the fuck I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, because I've been burned out at work for quite a long time now. It's interesting because I started working in corporate America back in 2015, and I remember my very first day at my job. I remember how stressful and overwhelming it was, and I remember coming home and thinking to myself, like, how am I going to do this for the rest of my life? Like, this is just what people do. And that feeling hasn't changed much, and I haven't answered that question. I'm sitting here 11 years later wondering the same thing. Over time, it just seems to get worse and worse. I mean, our government is actively finding ways every single day to just beat us into the ground more and more so that we have absolutely no energy to make anything better for ourselves. I guess I just want to say, if you're also feeling this way, you're not alone, and you're not weird for having those feelings. You're not crazy for feeling burned out at work. You're not lazy. You're reacting normally to a very inhumane way of making people live, period.
How I know America is in a recession and we're in a bad spot economically is I don't be seeing change on the ground no more. A couple years ago, you could be walking down the road, you'd see a quarter just chilling on the ground. Nowadays, you ain't even seeing a penny. People were literally penny pinching because fucking economically we're fucked. Gas is like $5. Bro, I was happy about my tax return. Like, that's how you know I'm poor, bro. When I am receiving a tax return, that's how you know I'm fucking broke. Like, I should be paying taxes. I should be having to pay taxes because I'm rich enough, not being happy that I'm receiving a tax return because I'm fucking poor. Oh, fuck.
I honestly didn't expect life in America to be this hard. Like money, taxes, driving, everything, the road, the houses, everything is just so confusing. And I just have to figure it out.
I think that the most frustrating part about being an American is every once in a while they'll introduce a piece of legislation and it's like called like the Free Puppies and Pizza Act, and you're like, oh my god, I hope we get that one. And often we do not, but I can't help myself. I'm a man who is full of hope. And ironically, this is how I feel about the Energy Bills Relief Act. Everything I read about it gets me hooting and hollering. It restores clean energy incentives so that we can add low-cost power to the grid. It cracks down on price gouging from energy companies. And it offers financial assistance to protect families from utility shutoffs. That's what I want. I want that stuff. My energy bills are high. They've gone up at double the rate of inflation. I'm not a genius, but I was able to do that math. So yeah, despite the life that I've lived, I have hope. I have hope we gonna get it. It would be nice, actually. It'd just be nice after a year of getting other stuff.
If you still showing up to work, but you checked out in your heart and you can't afford to leave yet, this is for you. I need you to hear this. Just because you're staying doesn't mean you're failing. Sometimes staying is survival, not disobedience. Not everyone gets to quit dramatically. Some of us have bills, children, healing, and faith that says, hold on, just not forever. Here's the truth most people won't say. You're not stuck. You're strategic. God sees you clocking in, tired, praying silently, doing what you can with what you have. This season isn't your sentence. It's your bridge. So here's your one takeaway. Don't shame yourself for surviving a season you're preparing to outgrow. If this spoke to you, comment the word peace. I have more for people who are holding on but healing.
Yeah, 2026 America. I think whatever money I make, I'm gonna invest into a passport and save some money up and get the fuck out of this country. Get the fuck out of this country. You know, it's crazy to have to work a whole ass job and bust your ass and other people party. One of the jobs I had to do July, I just said fuck it, because after I lost my car in July, I was like, I don't want to go fucking do a hot ass shit, work in the sun all fucking day and watch people party, spend a shit ton of money at Zoo Fest and have a wonderful fucking time. And oh, my ass is homeless, I'm trying to save up money to fix my car and sort it out. And you know, these people just have endless supplies of money and they're just blowing it and they're smiling and they're drunk and they're full of food and they're having a great time. And I'm like, oh, picking up all the shit after them. And then you go to a bar, you see people turning up, having a good time, drinking, and you just gotta pick up after them. And you work as a waitress, you watch people eating all fucking night and they're just fucking, you know, they're not struggling at all and you gotta pick up after them. And you know, some of these people, you know, they're very abusive when they're talking to service industry workers, and they're very abusive when they're, you know, dealing with them. Stay here in this shithole country as the prices climb even higher. Fucking jump ship however you fucking can and fucking, you know, flee to a country where the prices are reasonable. It's like, oh, I went there with $5,000. And it's fucking crazy. You go to another country with $5,000, you can fucking live pretty fucking nicely for quite some time. You take $5,000 to America, nowhere can you live nicely. You get some rinky-dink ass apartment, you get some cheap ass job that don't even pay you enough to fucking rent the apartment. You gotta get some goddamn roommate and hope they make enough to cover the other half of the fucking apartment. And man, fuck this shit, man. Let me get on a fucking Thailand beach vacation and just pay some $5 for some fresh fruit and breakfast. Oh, here's a fucking mansion for $50, $100 a month. None of this bullshit in America. Here's a fucking shanty, 1-bedroom apartment with loud neighbors. And you know, I just want to feel like my life actually fucking means something for a moment. You know, anytime I go to a job anymore, it's like, man, my life is so fucking meaningless. All I'm doing is this fucking menial task. You know, I ain't making any fucking money doing it. You know, just barely staying the fuck afloat. It's like, fuck all of this shit. You know, I ain't even got my car now. Fuck, might as well just fucking make a bunch of money, bail. Fuck this place. America, the freest country in the whole entire world. It's expensive as fuck. America, your freedom costs money, actually. You gotta actually pay like fucking $3,000, $4,000 a month to have the best freedoms. Yeah, you can't even make fucking $2,000. Most fast food places, you're like, oh yeah, you make fucking like 1,200, 1,400 a month if you're lucky. Oh yeah, your rent's gonna be like 2,000. Not even. It's like, fuck, after rent, after utilities, after groceries, after the gas that people put in their cars, you ain't got motherfucking shit left for yourself. You know, I just want to feel like I have my fair share for a moment, at least a moment. You know, like, oh yeah, I lived my life for a little bit in Thailand. It was fucking nice. You know, I felt like a goddamn VIP. People there treated me with fucking respect. You know, it wasn't this fucking bullshit where people are just like, oh yeah, you got a lot of money here, oh, well, we can just fucking sit in this homeless shelter and fucking rot. Oh, you don't got rich mommy and daddy? Well, fucking sit in this homeless shelter and fucking rot. This country is so fucked, dude. Get me the fuck out of here. Jumping ship. SOS. This place is a fucking hellhole.
Bro, I got my first paycheck, 1.5K in the bag, baby.
Bro, you literally don't make as much money as doctors do. Bro, I literally make more money than you by taking my shirt off and rubbing my nipples all over men's faces, you stupid broke bitch.
Only in America do you have to pay a fee to hold your baby after it was just born. Only in America do you work 40 hours and then get asked if you want more hours instead of a raise. Only in America do you get billed for using your own money out of network. Only in America does your landlord raise your rent just because they can. Only in America can you get a 4-year degree and then still just answer phones and qualify for food stamps.
I saw this TikTok from a girl saying her friends were so burnt out from corporate America, they were getting checked into psych wards. I fully believe her. After working in corporate America for 7 years, I've seen some of my closest friends get heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and even someone passed away. I think society got it wrong by saying we need this hustle culture. We need to always be working really hard. I think there's a difference between working hard on your own business and your own things you're passionate about versus working for someone else's dream. I think 95% of people that work in corporate America are working for someone else's dreams. It's not 100% what you want to do every single day with your life, but you feel like you have no other choices. Make sure to save this video if your health is more important than someone else's dream, and to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because you can't take care of your loved ones if you don't pour into your own cup first.
If you want to recover from burnout, you have to get comfortable being unremarkable. For many people, especially high-achieving, high-intelligence, highly capable, highly competent women, usually with late-diagnosed ADHD, being unremarkable can feel terrifying. Who am I if I am not remarkable? Who am I if I am not excelling and achieving beyond expectations? What is my worth? What is my value if I am not doing, if I am not creating, if I am not being productive in some capacity? Problem is that means that we never actually get a chance to rest. To recover from burnout, we have to reduce our emotional, our cognitive, and our identity load. When you struggle with being unremarkable, when you struggle with not being productive, when you struggle with rest, when you struggle with having your entire self-worth tied up into an identity of someone who is always achieving, who is always crushing it, who is always doing something bigger and better than they did before, it can be extremely difficult to actually find moments of rest. What I do to rest is going to look different than what you do to rest, because we have different experiences and different feelings around different things. For one person, being cozy on the couch under a blanket, drinking some tea and watching their favorite mindless television show might be a great way to rest. For somebody with ADHD who hates repetition, watching a show that they've seen before can actually be frustrating and emotionally dysregulating because you're just bored. If you are a person whose identity is tied up into being creative, into being artistic, making art might not be the best choice for you. Or it might be a really good choice for you, but it depends on how able you are to be unremarkable in the making of that art. Can you doodle mindlessly? Can you watercolor mindfully without judging, without thinking about like, oh, maybe I should make a video of this process, or oh, maybe I should put a picture of this online, or whatever the case may be. For some people, movement can actually be restful. Things like yoga or going for a gentle walk. But if you are a person who tends to judge yourself or self-evaluate, or you're in the middle of the yoga video and you start thinking about, man, I look so dumb, I'm so bad at yoga, I'm terrible, I should be doing this more, I should be better at yoga, whatever, that's not actually rest, because you're judging yourself and you're self-evaluating, and that is identity load, and that is emotional and cognitive load. For some people, reading might be a really restful activity, but for somebody like me, I really enjoy like dense, academic, historical nonfiction, and so that is a big cognitive load. And so for me, reading is very cognitive and very identity based, because I'm like, I'm so smart, I read nonfiction. So a lot of times what I find is that while I'm reading, I start thinking about like, oh, maybe I could like make this into a video, or oh, I should like put this into my show, or like whatever the case may be. That's not restful. The curse of the gifted is that we are told that we are remarkable. We are told either directly or indirectly that we are more creative, we are more intelligent, we are creators above and beyond the norm. But a lot of us, at the same time, we're also struggling underneath it all with like an undiagnosed, or maybe if you got lucky, diagnosed neurodivergence. So we learned to push through, we learned to disguise, we learned how to obfuscate, we learned how to make it seem like we were fine when we weren't actually fine, and yet we were still remarkable. So now we are adults who never learned how to rest, who learned to equate our sense of worth and worthiness with our productivity. We are adults who don't have skills around being unremarkable, because being unremarkable is bad and scary and what you don't want to be. But being unremarkable is what you have to be when you are recovering from burnout. Sitting, stillness, stasis, non-judgmental self-evaluation, unplugging our sense of self and our self-evaluation and our constant worry about like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it the best? From the actual action of rest. It's really difficult. It's really complicated. It requires a terrifying amount of introspection and self-awareness and honesty. You do not have to be remarkable all the time to be worthy of love, to be worthy of rest, to be worthy of care. All the advice around burnout is like, just rest, just take a break, just take it easy. For a lot of people, rest is a lot more complicated than that because it involves having to untangle and unpack our sense of self and our sense of identity and our connection to how we move through the world, the way that we see ourselves. If you actually want to recover from burnout, actually have a lasting impact on your nervous system and your mental health, you have to learn how to do it unremarkably.
For the longest time, I truly felt like I was the only one from my peers who was truly like miserable at work. And that was really frustrating and isolating because I feel like I did all the right things, right? Went to school, did the internships, got good grades, and still ended up not super happy. And I would be very vocal about it with my peers. I'd be like, hey, like, is this all there is? Like, we went to school for what exactly? And they would all be like kind of weird about it. And at the time, like, I knew you had to play the corporate game, but I guess I didn't know the extent. So then I would have like side conversations with coworkers and be like, yeah, I don't know what's going on either. And it became this joke. And I was like, this cannot be all that there is. So I did what any frustrated person does when they feel like no one's listening to them. I turned to social media. At first it was just like fun and games, you know, like using the trendiest sound to like tell you about my work woes.
Well, you don't want to hear about 9/11.
But I noticed that those posts were popular because people could relate to them. And so those turned into people asking me for advice. And then that turned into me kind of knowing my audience and really giving you guys tools on how to survive toxic workplaces, terrible bosses, weird coworkers, and 10K of you really liked it. And so I don't know where we go from here, friends, but I do know that I'll keep showing up and I'll keep helping you. Please keep asking me all the questions because I love being the resource that I wish I had when I was going through all of the foolishness. This is the first video you've ever seen of mine. Hi, my name's Aaliyah and I'm a survivor of not one, but 2 toxic work environments. And I share all my tips and tricks to make work more bearable until you can peace out.
I hate getting ahead standing up. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but I hate getting ahead standing up. Like, I would much rather prefer to just lay down, relax, you feel me? Grab on some cheeks, you feel me? But motherfuckers will be like stand-ups. Like, they finna show you, so like they finna do something crazy. Like, I don't know. And usually, anytime I stand up, that's when I feel the most teeth. Like, I feel motherfuckers grating on my shit, so I prefer to lay down. I don't know.